So does the stripping down part make you more nervous than the like talking part?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Why do you think?
I'm a poet. Like my job is to talk. It's just that I've always had like I guess body issues as well. So it's just showing off everything is a bit nerve-wracking for me. I come from a family of eaters. We're from the South, so like food is a big part of us loving each other. It brings the family together. So I mean, even as a kid, my mom never like said anything about my weight. The only thing she would say is that like I'm too thin. She'd be like, "You need to eat more. I'm worried about you." I was thinking, okay, so maybe if I did like lose all this weight, then I wouldn't be bullied, and people would like me. Then I would get a boyfriend, and like I would fit in with the kids, and I wouldn't like feel so sad. I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to like not perpetuate fat phobia. So even like saying things like, "Oh, I feel fat," I know that that's like perpetuating that kind of language. So I always try to like reframe my sentences and reframe my thought process and like unlearn those things.
Can you talk about what your style says about you, including your hair?
Yeah, my hair is a big part of me. Growing up, I went to a predominantly Hispanic school, so everyone had like hair down to the back, just like flowing and curly and beautiful. But I'm black, so I would perm my hair, so like my hair would go like no longer than like probably right here. So I mean, just imagine like constantly having to straighten your kink, and me like I would have like really bad like scabs in my hair because like the perm would burn it. I would be so sad because I'm like, I'm never going to be beautiful like these girls. There's a reason why people still perm their hair after it burns, after it breaks off, after, there's a reason why we do it, and it's because it's ingrained in us that's not cute, that's not pretty, that's not acceptable, that's not professional in the workplace. And then I reached the point where I was like, no. And then it came into like me stepping into my own power, into my own blackness and my own black femininity. This is crochet braids right now. I'm natural. I was in Texas for a poetry competition. I was having a great time with my friends. We were at a bar. And then the waitress, she was like, "Oh my God, I love your hair. Is it real?" And she kind of reached for it, and I was like, "Don't touch me." And like she got so offended, that I was so offended, and like I'm just like, you're not trying to like, I'm not a dog, like you do it to someone's dog, you'd be like, "Oh my God, this is so cute, puppy," and you start petting it. If you saw like a normal person, like honestly, if you saw like a white person, you would never be like, "Oh my God, I love your hair. Let me just pat you down." That would never happen. Honestly, I feel like people don't see us as real people. It's like something to be touched or something to be looked at or something to like be put in a glass box and examined. Like I'm a queer black woman. Like this whole world tries to silence me.
At the time, were you aware of that you were interested in women, or where were you in that?
I feel like I became aware that I was interested in women when I was like 15, but I was like, I can be interested in them, but like that's it. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, date a girl? No, that's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. How do I explain this to people? I mean, like when I got into high school, like people showed more interest in me, and like I would just take anyone. I never really dated any man that I liked. It's kind of like, oh, they thought I was cute, so like I'm like, okay, well he thinks I'm cute, so I guess that I should do things with him. It was with him that I had my first like sexual encounters, not like actual like sex or intercourse, but like just sexual encounters that made me just completely uncomfortable. It was just really uncomfortable. But I was like, I don't know how to tell this man no. I don't know, because like he's like, I don't want him to get mad at me or yell at me. There was this one girl, and she was openly gay, and she was like, yeah, I like girls, so what? And like I saw that the way that the girls in my school treated her, she wasn't like beautiful the way that they thought people should be beautiful, like, the way they thought women should be beautiful. And she was like, I don't care, I think I'm gorgeous. And I mean, I'll always admire that about her. Because like honestly, at the end of the day, like 100 people could call you beautiful, but if you yourself don't think you're beautiful, it doesn't mean anything. Like she was doing activism before I knew what activism even was. Like to be in a classroom with people who hate you, which you could parallel that to being in a world filled with people who hate you for being black, for being woman, for being queer, for loving yourself, for not caring about their opinions, right? And to say like, I don't care, I still love myself, that is so empowering, and that itself is activism. And I thought she was crazy. I was like, how she is insane. Like, she's not gonna like break down or anything. Like, honestly, like saying no to your oppressor is a form of activism in itself. And whether it be like, obviously, like, the girls weren't her oppressors. It was like, you know, white supremacy and, you know, beauty standards and like all these systematic oppressions working in these young girls. And to saying no to all of that and being so sure of herself, I was like, wow.
Can you keep going into like when you did start to find your own voice?
So I went to this program called the Boys and Girls Club. It's an after-school program, and my brother and my sister went there. I took poetry workshops. I didn't start going on the mic until maybe 11th grade because I was just so scared. I was like, I could never do it. I don't have poems like them. I'm not smart the way they are. So there's in slam culture, when you hear like something that you like snap your fingers or you say So I would do my poem and like people would start snapping and I would be like, oh my God, they like it. So it just made me feel like people wanted to listen to me, which I never felt like before. Being on stage, like I would shake so bad. It was like my body was vibrating. I was so nervous. I felt like I was gonna faint. Because I went to this organization called Urban Word, where I was surrounded by a lot of like conscious people, you know, people who talked about racism, who talked about systematic oppression, who taught me it was okay to talk about the fact that men catcall me on the street, the fact that, you know, people call me like a nigger in the streets now, and like it's okay to talk about that.
And that's happened to you in New York?
Yeah, like a homeless man one time. In 2014, it was right after I made the Urban Word Slam team. I was walking from my dorm and like this homeless man was like, "You nigger," and I'm just like, it's just like interesting how it works that that this man who like has lost things still thinks he's superior to me because I am a nigger. And like this is not to bash homeless people at all, but it's like
it's a systematic.
It's a systematic oppression. It doesn't matter because like at the end of the day, I'm white and you're just another black person who I can oppress. Because like I went to a predominantly black school. I knew racism was something that happened, but I always thought that like it happened and it stopped. Like there's no more. Growing up in the Bronx, everyone looked like me, or was either like Hispanic or Muslim or black. Like I didn't see any white people. I didn't have any I didn't feel the oppression. But when I went to NYU, which is a predominantly white school, I was like, what is going on? I would be the only person the only black person in my classes, and I would be expected to speak for my entire race. And I was like, this is crazy.
When do you feel the most vulnerable?
When I'm when I'm with somebody, like romantically, cause I don't know. I've only been in 2 real relationships. I'm like the one that I had last year and the one that I'm in now, and I'm just so insecure, and it's just like I just make things up, and it's just like sometimes I just feel crazy, because I've just been hurt so much, and I'm just like, are you gonna hurt me? Or my mom knows now, that she understands now that this is depression, this is what it is. But I remember first trying to talk to her about it, and she's like, what are you talking about? We're black, we don't deal with that kind of stuff. Like, man up. And the news reporter says, Jesus is white. She says it with a smile on her face. Like it's the most obvious thing in the world. So sure of herself, of her privilege, her ability to change history, rewrite bodies to make them look like her. She says it the same way politicians say racism no longer exists. The same way police officers call dead black boys thugs. The same way white gentrifiers call Brooklyn home. She says it with an American accent. Her voice doing that American thing, crawling out of her throat, reaching to clasp onto something that does not belong to her. And I laughed to myself. What makes a black man a black man? Is it a white woman's confirmation? Is it her head nod? Is it the way she's allowed to go on national television and autocorrect the Bible and God himself tell him who his son really was? What makes a black man a black man? Is it the way reporters retell their deaths like fairy tales? The way their skulls split across pavements? The way they cannot outrun a bullet? How can she say Jesus was a white man when he died the blackest way possible? With his hands up, with his mother watching, crying at his feet, her tears nothing more than gossip for the news reporters or prophets to document, with his body left to sour in the sun, with his human stripped from his black. Remember that? How the whole world was saved by a black man, by a man so loved by God he called him kin. Called him black. Now ain't that suspicious? Ain't that newsworthy? Ain't that something worth being killed over? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching our video and for being such an incredible supporter of Style Like You.
We're Elisa and Lily, a mother and daughter on a mission to inspire acceptance by revealing what's underneath personal style.
Through Radically Honest docu-style videos, we are leading the fashion and beauty industries towards self-love, diversity, and inclusion.
Join our movement by following us on Instagram, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and buying our new book today.